Alright, let me explain. The title might be a bit difficult to understand because I don't quite exactly mean games, and I also don't quite mean disrespect. It's mostly games, but also business practices or corporate decisions that either disrespected or had a huge disregard for what the fans wanted when it came to that franchise. I mean, in other words, disrespect. I guess top 10 games, business practices, or corporate decisions that had a huge disregard for what fans wanted for their franchises didn't make for such a good title. But anyways, this is the top 10 games that disrespected their franchise. So that's what we're counting down today. But before we get started, you know what to do. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, turn notifications, and leave a comment. You'll be a loyal subscriber.
I wanted to give to you, the last part of your notes here, the significance spiritually of the number 10 in the Bible.
We start off the list with a game that isn't really that bad and kind of the only one on the list that I can say that isn't that bad. But it had a redesign that really hurt the franchise. That is DMC Devil May Cry. Again, this game isn't that bad, but the redesign goes against like everything that the fans loved about Devil May Cry. First off, you take Dante, a laid-back, wisecracking, more comic relief badass, and make him into an emo guy. Nothing against emo people, but this isn't Dante. There's nothing wrong with a redesign, and at the time, Devil May Cry was sort of in limbo and unsure where to go. So maybe a redesign was warranted, but this redesign kind of disrespected the whole franchise, including that one cutscene that you'll know what I'm talking about. Good thing for this game that ended up being pretty good, or else we would have never gotten Devil May Cry 5 to return to form, maybe. I don't know, I'm just assuming that. Remember BlizzCon 2018? Remember how it was an event that people paid crazy money to attend to, and less but still crazy money to watch on Twitch, and the big game announced at the end of the presentation, or event or whatever, to leave the diehard fans on was a free-to-play mobile game? Come on guys, do you guys not have phones? Seriously, the dude who said that, he's still a meme. That guy's ruined. All jokes aside, as someone who isn't even really that big of a fan of Diablo, this announcement alone was probably very disrespectful to the fans of Diablo, and even beyond that, the fans of Blizzard that attended and or saw BlizzCon. Like, I hope you know there is no free way to see BlizzCon, so to have it end off with a mobile game? The crazy thing about Diablo Immortal, though, is that it's not even out yet. And I think it might have gotten a trailer after its reveal, and that's it. We know nothing about this game. This mobile game, which closed out BlizzCon 3 fucking years ago, is still not out yet, though. Luckily for Diablo fans, Diablo 4 was announced at the next year's BlizzCon, and a remaster for Diablo 2 was recently announced, and I don't know, I think it might be out yet. I don't know, I haven't been following them. So it's best to forget that Diablo Immortal was ever even a concept.
So I'm going to be giving this flavor 8.5 out of 10 scoops.
Spyro the Dragon. How can you not like this little guy? Well, Activision heard that question and responded with Skylanders. This example of a game disrespecting the franchise is different from pretty much every other game on this list, as Skylanders isn't really a part of the Spyro the Dragon franchise, but the way Spyro was used in these games gets me very mad. After Activision got the rights to Spyro from Universal, they tried a few Spyro games and it didn't quite work out for them. So they used Spyro's name and popularity to help their new franchise being Skylanders, which became a franchise to get a yearly installment up to 2016. Thing is though, Activision was only using Spyro for Skylanders and not a new Spyro game or anything, and Spyro eventually didn't even end up being packaged with the game anymore or even on the front cover. It was a grimy tactic to kill Spyro and use his dead corpse to promote a new franchise. Luckily, Spyro got the Reignited trilogy, which showed that Spyro is still really good, and never have to talk about Skylanders ever again.
36.
Very close, but that's not it. Let's go to Gary the Retard. What number between 2 and 4?
7.
Now this one is definitely a strange entry, as it's not even necessarily a game that disrespected the franchise, but rather a certain anniversary that resulted in a recent death of a video game character. Well, you know what I mean. I'm talking about pretty much Mario's entire 35th anniversary. Now, like I said, this isn't a game, but Mario's 35th anniversary, even though the stuff involved wasn't terrible, the anniversary is a pretty bad game. Now, Nintendo put out a lot for Mario's 35th anniversary, but somehow it also seemed like they didn't put anything out at all. Mario 3D All-Stars is a collection of 3 fantastic Mario games in 3D that have rarely, if ever, been re-released, which is good in and of itself, but it's strangely missing Mario Galaxy 2, which it has its reasons to not be there, but still, understandable. But also, none of these games are up-resed. Hell, Super Mario 64 isn't even in fucking widescreen, and the menu and UI are just so lame and generic, and they charge you $60 for this. And I bought it. Then there is Super Mario Bros. 35, which I actually think was very fun. Yeah, and I mean was, because Nintendo deleted it, and they deleted 3D All-Stars too. I really don't get why you delete these games. 3D All-Stars was more of a business practice to make people buy it immediately, but why was it removed digitally? And why was Super Mario Bros. 35 removed, like, at all? Nintendo has been losing a lot of consumer trust recently by a lot of fans, and this is one reason why.
Okay, Mrs. Puff, what's my final score?
6.
Banjo Kazooie. It's just sad what happened to you. Banjo Kazooie and Banjo Tooie are 2 games for the Nintendo 64 that are world-renowned, fan favorites, and pioneers for the 3D platforming genre. And then Microsoft bought Rare, but we still got a new Banjo game for the Xbox 360 with a trailer that looked like it was going to be the long-awaited Banjo 3. We get the name as Nuts and Bolts, and it's a game about fucking cars. What? That is as far away from what people wanted as you can possibly get. That's not all though, because pretty much the whole beginning of the game is pretty much just making fun of Banjo and Kazooie from their older games. Banjo and Kazooie are fucking fat and keep saying that they should have ordered a small pizza. And Gruntilda is just a fucking floating head. Why? But it's like they pretended, as they kept the old level design but changed the gameplay mechanics to where you make cars, which makes a weird combination and a very unfun game to play. Let's hope Banjo Kazooie and Smash, which has been for 2 years already, but still, let's hope that sort of momentum gives them a new game.
Oh, chills. Literal chills.
It was number 5. Number 5 killed my brother.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Animal Crossing New Horizons. It came out at a perfect time during the start of the pandemic last year, but was also the first Animal Crossing game in a very long time, and it was just so great to see it. The Wii U didn't have an Animal Crossing game. Instead, it had, you know, when Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival was announced, I remember the public reaction from just about everyone, and it was along the lines of, what? Why? And as it turns out, because Amiibo. This game, I kid you not, only exists because someone at Nintendo wanted Animal Crossing Amiibos. So Nintendo made this game because of that. Not because they had a particularly good idea for a game or made the game particularly that fun. No, it was to sell amiibos. And I mean, it worked for someone like me. But think of the most boring thing you can possibly think of. Alright, you have a picture in your mind? Alright, whatever that is, it was probably more fun than this game. I kid you not. This was a tough time to be a Nintendo fan, cause this was peak, peak, the Wii U isn't working out as well as we probably hoped it would time. And not only did this hurt the Animal Crossing series, it also hurt Amiibo a bit, and they still haven't quite fully recovered. Thank God for New Horizons. Poor Chibi Robo. Nintendo made a really good game on the Nintendo GameCube, nothing too crazy or anything, but it was a fun time. And then they ruined the franchise. And Chibi Robo Ziplash was the final nail in the coffin. They put out a really nice and fun and good game on the Nintendo GameCube, but it didn't sell well because, well, I mean, the marketing was bad and it came out towards the end of the system's life. Oh well, shit like that happens. Then put out a sequel on the Nintendo DS, but only in Japan, and never localized it. Then they put out a new game, localized and everything, as exclusive to Walmart. Do you not want people to play these games? Then canceled a Wii port of the GameCube game, which that was a hot thing. A lot of GameCube games were getting ported to the Wii with updated motion controls, but canceled this one. Then made Photo Finder, which was more of a Chibi Robo spin-off, and then held the series hostage with Chibi Robo Ziplash, as it was a 2D platformer. None of these games are what Chibi Robo is supposed to be. It's unfortunate how Chibi Robo went out, and it's unlikely we'll ever see it again. Oh boy, you thought Chibi Robo Ziplash was a rant? Now you're about to hear a rant. I love Mega Man. You all knew that. Wait, what? You didn't? Oh. Well, I fucking love Mega Man. And so did many others. And Capcom noticed that, but kinda went a little too far with that knowledge. That's right, Capcom milked the absolute goddamn shit out of Mega Man like it was a fucking cow, and then proceeded to beat him to death. I won't go over every game that was included here, as we will be here for a while, but those were some tough times. Some didn't even see the light of day. I can touch on those. Mega Man Legends 3 was cancelled after already getting a demo on the 3DS. They canceled Mega Man Maverick Hunter, which was going to be a dark and gritty Mega Man first-person shooter. Okay, part of me kind of feels that that was a blessing in disguise, but it was part of a bad canceling streak, as Capcom also canceled Mega Man Online, which was an MMO Mega Man game, along with Mega Man Universe, which was supposed to be Mega Man's version of Super Mario Maker. And if that's not bad enough still, they had Mega Man in Street Fighter Cross Tekken as a guest character, which was already a very controversial game for its own reasons, and Mega Man, along with Pac-Man, added onto that by being exclusive to the PS3 version of the game and leaving Xbox 360 players out. What? I mean, that's more of a problem with Street Fighter Cross Tekken, but like, you still threw Mega Man in that shit. And on top of that, it was bad box art, Mega Man, for the first one. I'm assuming it was an inside joke that became a thing. And what makes that even worse is that that was an anniversary for Mega Man. And if you believe it, that's still not it. Fast forward a few years, and Keiji Inafune leaves Capcom and makes Mighty No. 9. I don't need to say anything more on that, but this whole period was a pain to be a Mega Man fan. Capcom just didn't seem to know what to do with Mega Man, so they gave it a break and made Mega Man 11, which was awesome and a great return to form, and they are reportedly working on more. This does have a happy ending, but God. And this was only number 3, and you heard this really long rant.
What kind of pencil do we take again?
Number 2. Take a number 2.
Looks like you took a big number 2.
I'm sure you were expecting something from Konami to make the list. This is because, honestly, there have been many gaming publishers and developers that have fallen from grace, but I don't think any company holds a goddamn candle to the way Konami has fallen from grace. Sure, companies like EA and Activision just kind of suck, but Konami seems to do everything out of spite for their fans, and subsequently, Hideo Kojima. You know where I'm going with this, and that is Metal Gear Survive. Honestly, I want to puke every time I even think of this game. Say what you want about Metal Gear Solid 5, since it's a very divisive game, it is the end of the series, even Kojima says so. Konami isn't letting Metal Gear rest though. This isn't Metal Gear. As bad as that shit is though, they have the gall to charge you $10 for another save slot. Let's just say you somehow finished the game and for whatever reason you wanted to play through it again. That'll cost you another $10. Never do I usually think a company is trying to sabotage its franchises, but it's clear as day that Konami really tried with Metal Gear Survive.
I'm Luigi, number 1.
Oh, you thought Konami only disrespected Metal Gear? Well, Metal Gear kind of actually appears on this list again, but this time along with Castlevania, Contra, and Silent Hill. Yep, you know where I'm going with this. Pachinko machines! Yay! This is a clear sign that Konami has run out of fucks to give about their franchises. Like, really? Pachinko machines? I know it's a surefire way to get money, but that just shows that's all Konami cares about. Money. Are you really going to tell me that they have respect for their own franchises when they treat them like this? To be honest, I'm kind of surprised that after all this, Snake returned in Smash along with Simon and Richter joining, and I'm surprised we got a new Contra game. Sure, it was bad, but its existence is astounding. I'm surprised that new Silent Hill games is always in the rumor mill. Actually, just a rumor. I'm not that surprised. But all 4 of these games were absolutely desecrated by Konami, and then pissed on, and then eaten after being pissed on and desecrated. And I think they are beyond repair. I don't think you can make a new Metal Gear game, especially since Kojima is gone and after what Konami did. I don't think you can make a new Contra game. We saw that fail. I don't think you can really make a new Silent Hill game, and I really don't think you can make a new Castlevania game with the current Konami at least, because just how little they give a shit. Konami's Pachinko machines take the top spot as the #1 game that disrespected their franchise or games. I don't know, like, this was a weird video, weird list to like title, explain, whatever. But what do you guys think? Can you possibly tell me what you think of this list? Because it's odd, it's very specific. And yeah, be sure to like this video, come subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.